Hey there, and welcome to the People Who Help People podcast. This is the spot for HR and people ops pros who are all about building better businesses by putting people first. We chat with founders and experts who've been there, done that, and are generous enough to share what actually works. Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hello again. Today I'm happy to be speaking with Dr. Eric Hicks and Christina Hicks, the husband and wife team behind Insight for Leadership. Eric is a PhD and certified executive coach who spent his career helping senior leaders grow, make better decisions, and bring out the best in their team. Christina is an educator and professional coach who loves helping leaders see themselves more clearly, untangle the stories that hold them back, and step into new ways of leading. Together, they create space for honest reflection and bold experimentation, which is exactly what we're diving into in today's episode, Fresh Thinking, New Mindsets. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Great to be with you.
Well, it's great to have you. So, ladies first, Christina, tell us about yourself and how you came to, meet Eric as well as join him in Insight for Leadership.
Well, you're very kind to ask. I don't think I'm really all that interesting. I love to ski. I love to hike. I'm very tenacious. Those are the things about myself. I do have a background in education. I taught human development as a professor for many, many years. I still teach online, and I am thrilled to say I am in my 26th year of teaching. I've taught continuously during that time, and that's like a long time. A quarter of a century is a very long time. I love teaching. I would love to teach face to face. My schedule doesn't really allow it. You're really locked into a schedule when you teach in a face to face classroom. But I love helping students. And so that's my background is education and then higher education administration. Fundraising. I was a fundraiser. I still am on serve on 2 boards. And help with the fundraising effort and the project management effort. How I came to coaching, mostly through Eric. Eric has done leadership training and coaching for many, many years. We spent some time out of the country serving a church mission. And when I came back, I thought it would be delightful to retire. And that sounds really great to all the people out there in a full-time job that have to get up every day and figure out what they're going to wear, what they're going to say, and how they're going to make it through their day. But when reality, rubber actually hits the road, retirement is not that fantastic, complete, total retirement. And so I realized I was driving my kids absolutely crazy because now I was telling them what to do with their children. I was over grandparenting. I had many activities planned for all the grandchildren every day, which didn't necessarily fit into their lives. And so I became involved with a board, and that was fun. And I have a lot of energy. I wanted to do something more. So Eric and I talked about, why don't I try coaching, see if I liked it. And I actually did. I feel like it's an extension of what I've always done, and that's teaching and educating and helping people really tap into their potential and, kind of figure out who they want. I don't really think education is really telling anyone what you know. It's teaching them how to think. That really is education. Now, those aren't my words, by the way. That's Piaget said that. And so I do. I love coaching. I love working with Eric. It's a project we work on together. So I love spending time with Eric and this project that we love and that are passionate about together. It's fun. We've only been married 9 years. Both of our spouses passed away after long illnesses. My spouse had cancer for 21 years.
Wow.
Eric's spouse was ill for a very long time. And so we've only been married 9 years. Everything we do is sort of a new adventure. And so here we are in this Insight for Leadership adventure that we are loving right now. And I learned a lot from Eric.
Terrific. We're gonna dig into that in a moment. Eric, before I let you introduce yourself, let me just say I count Eric as one of my first mentors. I worked with Eric many years ago when I first joined the world of business. And when I was just a young leadership instructor, Eric took me under his wing and taught me many things. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that we've stayed in touch. So, Eric, please tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to Insights for Leadership.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Well, I think you mentioned this. Maybe it was Christina. I've worked a long time in leadership development, organizational development in big companies. So I started with that out of school. Liked doing that. Liked helping leaders grow, managers understand how to manage better, lead better, and that was really where I kind of cut my teeth on this whole idea of leadership development. Did some inside coaching, internal coaching over the years, and really like that as well. Long story short, roll those years by and realized that I liked it so much, and I thought that I did this pretty well. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't do well. Don't ask me to be a cost accountant or a project manager, other things, but I finally found the thing that I thought that I could do really well, which is to sit across from individuals and ask them the questions that nobody else will ask them to help them grow and develop and move forward in their life. And so Christina and I came together, obviously in a marriage, but also in building a business that was really complementary. She has amazing skill sets that I don't have, and we have complementary skills. We have overlap. We both coach, we both do some things, we both train, but we both have different things that we do as well. And those really have worked well together to provide our clients things that each of us individually could not have delivered on our own. So that's sort of in a nutshell where we are. We've had the company going for the last 12 years or so, and it's been rolling well. We have great clients and great referrals, and just have some amazing experiences helping people reach that next level of potential that they want to reach.
Terrific. So tell me a little bit more about books of business. Do you have any overlap? Do you do any coaching together, or I assume you both have your own client base? Christina, that's a question for you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
We don't coach together. We consider our coaching very confidential. We don't coach together. We do leadership training together. And some of our clients are asking for leadership training with follow-up coaching. And so we will go into a company, an organization, and do leadership training either once or, quarterly with them, whatever the contract is, whatever they're asking. And then our belief is that training is fantastic only as much as it is followed up upon. Like, a lot of training is really delightful because people are away from work for an afternoon or a day, but there's not a lot of follow-up and accountability after. And so we really believe that training is fantastic. And then we will then coach the people who are in the training and see how they're doing, hold them accountable, let them grow and develop from there. And so we train together. We love that. But our coaching is very private, individual coaching.
So, Eric, how often does it happen that you gain clients from a session like Christina just described versus maybe referrals? Rough percentages.
I'd say maybe 40% of the time or so we'll train internally, and then training feeds coaching. So the concepts and skills that we talk about in training, then when we get with them individually, we can then ask the individual, how are they showing up with that concept? How do they want to show up? And then we can really focus on their individual needs and skills against those things that we talked about in training. And then we make, we have homework assignments and things that they follow up on. We kind of talk about how they move forward. But the 1-2 punch that we found works really well is do the training, follow up on the training individually, and then create improvement plans, success plans based on that. They create them. We ask the questions for them.
Got it. So, Christina, you mentioned something a moment ago. We do confidential coaching. That makes me think that when you're over at the dinner table, are you allowed to anonymize and talk about the folks you're working with? Or do you keep it business is business and personal is personal?
We really don't. We really try to really keep that part of our life separate. We may talk about the business, but not about our coaching clients. We really are bound by confidentiality. There's some training. We'll work with an individual, we'll do some training, and then they will say, well, I want you both to help me with this, and we'll both work on the same thing. Always, if that's the case, that's always with, is it okay if I run this by Christina? Occasionally, I will have a client. Eric is really good at executive coaching. He's had a lot of experience there. I will say, is it okay if I run this by Eric, see what he thinks, and either we'll both get back to you, he'll get back to you, I'll talk with him, come back to you. but it's always with their permission. And so really we don't. Now we obviously talk about the training, what we're going to do for that group as a whole, if we're in their place of business doing a training of some sort. But the individual coaching, we really don't talk about it without their permission. Yeah.
Eric, there has to be some time when you've been stuck on something and you said, I wonder what Christina thinks about this. So how do you work that in without her knowing that you're maybe talking about a client? Because I bet you do.
Well, let's go back to what Christina said for a moment.
Yeah.
This is especially something we need to keep a wall of separation if we're working in the same company. Today, Christina was coaching someone in a company, and I happen to coach people in there as well. And we don't talk about it because we want them to build trust with us so they feel they can share anything with us. But if I'm stuck, once in a while, I might anonymously say, I have a client, Christina, that I'm really stuck with. I don't know how to help them. For example, Christina is exceptional at building relationships and networking. That is not my forte. She's really good at it. And so if a client is really having trouble with that, I might ask her, here's a situation with a client without a name, and here's what they've done in the past, and what are some things that you would recommend I probe about that they might be able to latch onto to break through and make these relationships and create these networks that they haven't had in the past. So I can find a way to anonymize it, but still get her, draw knowledge out of her experience, because she's just really good at that. And from that's why I think we work so well together, is we're able to help each other in those areas that we've had experience.
Terrific. So I was hoping that was the answer, because as much as I absolutely understand the separation and the confidentiality, there's just something about being partners, both in business and in life, where you just want to bounce things off each other. And it's good to hear that you're able to do both, maintain that important separation, yet do that. So Christina, Eric mentioned he's not the best at certain things. What do you bring to the business that he'd be lost without you?
Yeah.
Besides your ability to network and build relationships.
I am the organizer of the year, quite frankly, and I'm really good at it. I'm really good at planning, organization, deciding what needs to be done next. Project management probably would have been my thing. That wasn't a thing when I chose a career. And so I just do it in my family, and I just organize Eric's life. And it works really well. He doesn't question whatever's on the calendar. He doesn't say, why is this on the calendar? Or why are we going on vacation this week? It's just, oh, we're going on vacation that week because Christina assumed that would be, she knew that would be the best week for it. And so I keep us really organized. I with the billing and the back end office, I really do organize that and remind him when something needs done. He's really good about it. That's where I shine. It's just that organization piece, keeping the business running. Definitely his strength is, executive coaching on the C-level coaches. He's very good at that. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So Eric, and I saw in your bio, you've coached clients all around the world. And sometimes I bet you get to travel to some interesting places. And Christina mentioned that her job can be done remotely. How often are you working from somewhere more fun than just the home base?
Yeah, so with technology, of course, today, most of our coaching happens via Zoom or Google Meet or something like that. I'd say 2 to 3 times a year, I'll be taking a trip internationally. And, we have clients. We have about 30 clients at any given time, maybe sometimes a little bit more or less. They're in Asia. We have clients in Europe. We have clients in the US. And so it does make it interesting. Sometimes the coaching is about them becoming better at what they do. Sometimes it's about fitting into a new culture. And both Christina and I have traveled in many countries, so we understand how cultures can sometimes clash and mix together. So that's some of the coaching we do, but most of it's done, quite frankly, Craig, over Zoom. And that's why companies like that. I think COVID gave us a great big boost to let people know, you could actually do this without traveling all around the world to get there. But there are times when we do. And so we kind of do a mix of it. But I'd say the vast majority of our business is over Zoom.
So Christina, you said I think Eric mentioned you've been doing this about 12 years, or maybe he's been doing it 12 years. You've been with him at least 9 in this venture. What do you know now you wish you knew 10 years ago? I'm not asking anything personal about Eric. I mean, about the business.
No, that's a good question. How fun it is. I think when you get ready to start a business, you start to think of, we need this bank account and that bank account and this business license, and then we need this tax person too. Then you start thinking all the just the nuts and bolts of what needs to be done. And a lot of people think that's really fun and exciting, but then you think, well, if I do this for 9 years, I bet it won't be as fun. Like, I'll probably just get tired of talking with people or training or, doing the billing or just whatever. And I think what I didn't realize, and I wish I would have just known, that I will actually have more fun than I ever thought possible. And I think that's important for people to realize. I think if you're really not having fun doing what you're doing, then gosh, go find something else to do. And I think when you're really in your sweet spot of what you're supposed to be doing, whatever, that's a weird word, what we're supposed to be doing, but what we are supposed to be doing, it is just so much fun. Like every day, you just can't wait to get up and just go do it. And I guess I would have known that 9 years ago and thought, gosh, this could just be fun for a long time. We talk about retirement and, someday maybe we should, not take on so many clients. And we thought, oh, that doesn't sound very fun. And so I just think that I just didn't realize how much fun this would still be.
So speaking of fun, Eric, how do you blend fun and business as co-owners, as world travelers? How do you make time for both?
Well, this is something that Christina has taught me, which I think was marvelous about us coming together. We have really intentionally focused on experiences in our life and not things. And we've made a total shift to that. And so rather than sort of build the big house and all the things you need with that and stuff you kind of buy and maybe status seeking in some ways, we've decided that we want to spend our years together going and experiencing the world. And a lot of times that's skiing, it's hiking, it's doing things, finding new people, seeing new places. And so we have 3 to 4 major trips a year, by the way, which Christina organizes because she's so darn good at it, that we go and expose ourselves to things that we haven't seen before. In particular, I mean, I feel strongly about getting a sense of awe in my life at least once a month. In other words, seeing something that is so much bigger than me and so much more interesting than what I think I am, that it helps me be a better coach, helps me do things better. And so we plan it in. And one more thing I'll point out here. There are coached thousands of people, and I can tell you that many, many executives will say, someday I'm going to, and then they have whatever it is. Most of them have never done it. Most of them don't have a plan to do it, but they keep saying it. And if you'd asked me, what I wish I would have done before, as you asked Christina, I would have said I would have started a business at least 10 to 15 years earlier, because I had fears. Is this going to work? Is the money making opportunity as good as what I was doing? And I have to say, it's been, to Christina's word, fun to be absolutely self-determinant in the business that we run, the things that we do, the freedom that we have to do the things that we want to do, and to apply the things, quite frankly, both of us really do well into a business that we have a commitment to and have fun doing. So hopefully that answers that question.
It does. And I read one of your blogs about sense of awe, and it was wonderful. I loved it. I wish I could remember it as well as I remember that it spoke to me. I did read it about 2 months ago, so I can't remember everything. But Christina, sense of awe. Do you share Eric's excitement about some of these sense of awe type moments, or is that kind of his thing?
That's kind of my thing, and he has fortunately gotten on board with it. Eric lived a very I'm going to go to work type of life. He traveled all over the world and just kind of did the executive thing that he was supposed to do. And I am the person who has always created these experiences, even from when my children were very young. I'm the experience maker. And so he has gotten on board with me. And For example, we're going to the Serengeti in September of 2027. Now that's on the calendar. And so he already knows, like, I better not plan anything then because that's on the calendar. And so I think, and to say, oh, we should go there someday. Anything that comes out of either one of our mouths, like we should go to Africa someday. I just plan it, put it on the calendar, there it is. And it has been just an awe kind of life that we are creating. We realized, very fortunately, we can look back and say, oh, is this super hard having, 6 spouses for so long? And that was hard. And it was really challenging for us. It was more challenging, if it was for our children, certainly challenging too. I think what our families have learned, hopefully, is that every day is just such a gift, and we can make the most out of it, and we can experience things that are fantastic. And I look at my kids, for example, the 2 of my children that have families, the Christmas presents they gave their kids this year. My daughter gave her kids, they're all going to New York for spring break trip. And my son, they're all going on a cruise to the Bahamas for their spring break trip. And so as opposed to just a lot of stuff that they don't even know what they have after a while, they're creating awe moments for their children. So I do have this adventurous spirit of kind of Energizer Bunny, and we're going, if you want to do that, good, let's do it. My little 6-year-old granddaughter said she wanted to go to New York because she really likes Taylor Swift and she really likes the song Welcome to New York. And so I took her to New York last fall. And when we landed at the airport, she looked at me and said, she calls me Dina. Dina, you've made all my dreams come true. And I think, gosh, isn't that a way to live? To help, especially our children and grandchildren. How can I help make all of your dreams come true? Like, let's just go adventure. And did we do the things I wanted to do? I don't know. I did because it was with her. We spent a full day in the American Girl doll store. That's what she wanted to do. And I just think
a good day.
That's a good day. That's a great day.
Yeah.
And I just think Eric has really gotten on board with that with me. And I'm just so appreciative that he never says, we're going to what? He just jumps on board. And I love it.
I liked how Christina said, you did the executive thing. I'm guilty. I did the same thing. Done the same thing. And I imagine many of the people you coach have done the same thing, but I also love how you told the story of it. And I hope you follow. I'm sure you follow when somebody says, I wish, or someday I'm going to. I hope part of the coaching goes to, let's make that someday sooner than not. Or I hope there's a Christina in your life to help plan that for you. Okay, Eric. Everything can't be as wonderful as Christina says. So for the listeners, tell us the downsides of working with someone you cherish in your business. Oh, I'm putting words in your mouth. Someone with whom you share life together in the business.
Yeah, really good question.
Yeah, I'm curious.
The downside is that, in my opinion, and I think Christina would agree with me, but you might have to ask her, we need to make sure we have a life outside of the business. It's easy to be very transactional, and we're really good at this. We know how to work together. We both have had professional careers. We can really make it click. But if one of us is struggling with something, one of us needs some time, one of us needs an ear, then we need to stop what we're doing in the business and be husband and wife who are caring and focused and listening to each other. And I think Christina does a much better job than I do, by the way. But that's something that you can fall into that trap. And it's very easy to let your relationship, because it's a business, become transactional and not focused on growing each other and helping each other move forward. That's the most difficult thing. And you have to be very intentional. I'll just say I have to be very, very intentional about it to make sure that I do that.
Christina, do you have a follow-up, or do you have a different, here's the downside of working with Eric as much as I do?
No, I think that I would agree with him. Absolutely. That we can communicate about we need new pictures for the website. And I'm going to do this billing, and don't forget to go see if this person wants to renew their contract. And we can spend, hours we have weekly planning meeting, talk about the business. We can spend hours talking about this. Where are you going this week? What are you doing? thinking we've had a really great week of communicating. And all we've done is talk to each other, much like a work colleague. And we never really, we've talked to each other all week, but we haven't ever really communicated with each other all week just because we've been hearing words out of each other's mouths. It wasn't anything that was personal about us or what we were thinking or feeling. And so I think it's really easy to become work colleagues when you work together and think you're just spending a lot of time together and talking all the time, but it is talking about work. And it's fun and it's delightful and we love what we do. It's still a job. It's still not what are your dreams and what are you thinking and how are you feeling. It's still different and they need to be separated. And I think it just requires being very intentional about, we've talked about work like a whole week. Maybe we should talk about something else, you know.
Do you have a safe word that says, I need you now. I don't need my work colleague now. I need to talk to you. And I'm violating my own rules. That goes back to Christina. So Christina, I'm gonna let you answer first. What's your safe word?
I think we need a safe word. No, we really don't. Like, that's good advice. I'll write that down. Thank you. Usually I just get kind of ticked off and Eric will say, is everything okay? And I would say, no, I'm fine. And that should be a clue to him. I taught him should be. I taught, family relationships for 26 years. When I say I'm fine, he should pick up. He does about, 80% of the time. But no, I think we do need a safe word other than I'm just completely irked, because that's kind of how we handle it.
Yeah. Okay. Eric, how about you? How do you let Christina know you need a different conversation?
Well, it may be some of the same. I may get quiet and she picks up on that, and that's really not always fair to her, because sometimes I get quiet for completely different reasons, like I'm in thought something else. And so we both know this about each other. And so, we do understand it. And I think that she's very adept at picking that up. I like your idea of a safe word. We should probably do that. And it's true. If I hear the words "I'm fine," immediately the red flag goes up that tells me she's not fine. We need to look into this further. But no, that's probably what I do. I tend to kind of go inside a little bit and be introspective, and I do that about just non-emotional things too. Just I think a lot, and sometimes it's not helpful. So I have learned to try to express myself more and just say, this is bothering me. Can we talk about it?
Got it. Okay. So let's close on what you'd recommend to others who are thinking about going into business with their spouse. And I'm going to start with Eric this time.
Okay. Well, I think the first thing is make sure you absolutely love what you do. There will be times where you won't have agreement. You're going to have life happen. You're going to have disagreements and arguments that are not related to the business, some that are. And it's hard enough to keep a business rolling if you love what you do. But if you don't love it, then there's little chance of you continuing to make that successful. If we're talking about the business part of it, the relationship part of it is one that I really think establishing how you communicate, establishing time away. This is what some of the reasons we have our experiences to go and enjoy things together. We have built a great relationship just going out and doing that. Having time where you ask each other how you're feeling. We have a little thing we do on occasion where we'll go out for walks all the time and we'll say, well, give me 3 words. It doesn't matter what the 3 words are, but give me 3 words. And so she'll give me 3 words. They can be about anything. And it could be, something that's going great and going well and excitement, and could be, this is really difficult and I'm struggling with what you did or said. And then we switch and have the other one do 3 words. So that's the kind of communication pattern that needs to occur on a regular basis in order for you to work together and keep that relationship more important than the business. Because when that's the case, then the business will go well. But if the business becomes more important than the relationship, then you're in tough waters.
Okay. And Christina, over to you. What advice would you give to others thinking of starting a business with someone they care for?
I think it's very similar to Eric. I used to have a little plaque on my desk. I don't even know what happened to it, but it said, love where you are, love what you're doing, and love who you're with. And so love, where you are. Right now I'm right here. Here I am. I love where I am. I love who I'm with. I have deep respect for you, Craig. I love working with Eric. I love that. And I love what I'm doing, talking about things that make my life certainly better and hopefully other people's lives a little bit better. When we stop loving what we're doing or we don't love that thing, then we probably shouldn't go into that business with someone we care about or anybody else. I think it boils down to, do we really love what we're doing? And then I think the rest, if we love the people around us, we love what we're doing, love where we're doing it, I think those other things then are just a matter of constantly adjusting and revising what's going to work. It doesn't necessarily mean it's with your spouse or someone you love, but you form a business with your brother, sister, mother, father, spouse. I think any business partner or work relationship is a constant adjustment. How can I be better in the workplace to make your life better? What can you do that would make my life easier? Those are things we do regardless of who we're working with. If we are in a respectful working relationship. And so I think those things still hold true. Remembering it isn't always about me, that we're in a business together. How can I make his work life better so that we can make the business more productive, not just for us, but for the people we're serving? We want to make it better for them. Yeah.
Close on that. And let me start by saying, I've just met you, Christina, but I can see what Eric saw in you. And having known Eric for so many years, I think I know what you saw in him. But it also came out through this conversation that it sounds like after what must have been unimaginably challenging times in both of your lives, you were blessed to find each other, and then doubly blessed to be able to build something together that brings you both joy and helps others. And that's all. Gosh, that's all we all hope for in life, is that we can do something with somebody we care for as a colleague, and you're lucky enough to also share a life together. So you've been amazing guests. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on the podcast. If somebody heard something today and they say, God, I'd love to follow up and talk to Eric or Christina some more, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Eric?
Yeah, so email is great. I'm at ehicks@insightforleadership.com. Our website is insightforleadership.com, and Christina's at christina@insightforleadership.com. So any of those would get to us.
Good. I will include those in the podcast. Once again, thank you both for being amazing guests. And I hope through this conversation today, our listeners have learned something. But equally, I hope that maybe you two have heard something that you hadn't heard before, or you heard it in a different way. I heard a lot of wonderful things, so I hope you did as well. Okay.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.